excitement, surprise, confusion, happiness, anger, gratitude, betrayal, proud, owed, thankful, bragger. Why are you doing this? What does this mean? I love this. I hate this. I want more. I can't take it anymore. I like this now. I liked it then. I hate this now. I hated it then. Things will be better. Things will never be the same. Lots of emotions. Yeah, that sounds like a relationship to me. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And this entry in the vlog going to be a little bit different than the norm, and that's okay. It's a little bit more focused on what this chapter in its entirety means to me and what I want to convey going forward throughout the next year of my life on this channel. And I used to be, I guess, let's say, a very romantic person. All my life, ever since I was young, I thought to myself what I wanted was to find someone that I could love and spend my life with, and all of that stuff that I had sort of been brought up around and exposed to through watching movies and reading books. Believe it or not, I've read a book or two in my time. And that was something that I knew who I was at my core, right? Which I'm sure a lot of people have felt that way. And I've had some pretty defining relationships with women in my life that I still carry with me today. I do believe now, looking back, that they helped sort of define and structure me into who I am as a man when it comes to looking at stuff like love and relationships. And a lot of people are going to balk and say, oh, that's icky, we don't want to hear about this, we don't want to talk about that, and that's fine. But I know that there's plenty of people out there that do sort of harbor a lot of these emotions and don't know how to process it. And I'm not saying that I do either, but I figured by maybe sharing some of my experiences to the best of my ability and telling you all, obviously in a little bit more of a truncated fashion, what those relationships were like as I was going through them from beginning to end might resonate with certain people, and others might just like the opportunity to get to know me a little bit better. I am in no way looking to bash or bring down any of these women that I was with. This is just me sharing my side of it, and I will be 100% truthful to the best of my ability. That sounds a little funny, but I will be as truthful as I can be from my side of things, right? At the end of the day, there is no ill will harbored, right? Relationships can be, like I said, amazing and fun and full of life and full of love, but they can also steamroll you and make you feel like you want to die. And if you don't allow yourself to sort of feel those emotions and go through it, you don't really allow yourself the opportunity to learn and grow from it. And I think at the end of the day, it's much more important to carry those experiences with you and remind yourself why you are possibly better off, or to at least give you a bit more of a positive outlook on life. I do believe in harnessing everything that sort of happened to you and using that to move forward. And probably like a lot of people, my story starts with one single person when I was very young. Yeah, I also really like symbolism, which I'm sure you will learn as this goes on. But yeah, I met Chelsea probably when I was 14 years old, maybe. Quite young, quite impressionable, a scallywag, some might say. And that's actually why I'm parked outside this vacant lot. And you may be wondering, why are you there? This lot didn't used to be vacant. Back when I was that age, this lot was the site of a YMCA. And if you're not familiar with what those are, they were rec centers, weight rooms, pools, gyms, conference rooms, all that good stuff. And they just had a whole bunch of sort of extracurricular activities, classes, courses that you could enroll in. And they had this one program, which we will, for the sake of argument, just call like the youth program. And it had 3 levels based on your age. It started with adventurers, then it went to LITs, which stood for leaders in training. And then the last level, when I believe that was like 16, 17 years old, was leaders. Obviously, these were courses that focused on, you know, fostering good leadership abilities, right? Anyway, it was a lot of fun. You would do it like once a week. You would come from like 6 till 7 at night or something like that. The groups of kids that I was involved with, I don't even remember now, probably, I don't know, a group of 20 maybe every single time. You sort of go up the ranks with them. It was it. You would play a lot of games. The sort of games and activities you would do, if anybody's ever played, I believe it was called the paperclip game. You would break into groups. Each group would get a paperclip, and you'd get an allotted amount of time, and you could go out into the neighborhood, surrounding businesses and whatever, with supervision. And you barter, and you trade up. And you come back at the end of the game, and whichever group has the best item that they have traded, starting with the paperclip, wins, right? It's that sort of stuff. It also involved camping trips and this, that, and the other thing and whatnot. But it was in this program that I actually ended up meeting Chelsea. And before getting into like the meat of what I consider our actual relationship, we had like on and off little silly teenager things where, oh, we're dating for a week and we broke up. And back then dating really meant maybe you held hands in public, right? Once we were in leaders and we were a little bit older, not that we were any more mature, that's when we officially started dating, as we would call it back when I was a kid. There's no real dating involved. It's not like it was the 1950s where you would court a lady and take her out to dinner and woo her and all of this. But, you know, just we're dating. We're boyfriend and girlfriend. And we were. And Chelsea was the first true love of my life. Unsurprising to a lot of people, she had beautiful red hair, face full of gorgeous freckles, and I still get told this to this day. My grandfather, after Chelsea and I had broken up years later, and he had witnessed our relationship, he vocalized his opinion that Chelsea ruined me for other women. My grandfather is no longer with us. I cannot ask him if he still feels that way, but a part of me thinks he was probably onto something there. She really was that first true love. There had been girls that I had crushes on growing up, of course, but she was the girl that sort of started me on my path to growing up and figuring out what it was I would want from a relationship. And so many good times filled with this girl and her friends. I will always hold very near and dear to my heart the wholly entertaining and jokingly coincidental way that our friend groups came together. And I'm not talking about when we were at the, the after hours youth programs at the YMCA, but just through school and high school and whatnot. We always sort of laughed at, on my side, there were 4 guys, myself and my 3 good friends. On her side, there was Chelsea and 3 of her good friends. So it all sort of matched up. You would think everybody sort of started dating. You would be wrong. There was a little bit of intermingling, of course. But it was always cool that we had this really strong core group of 8 people, 8 friends. And we created some amazing memories that I'll get into next time I talk about Chelsea for sure. And that's one of those highlighting moments that stay with me. Why did I wait so long to start talking about this in the chapter now? Well, honestly, it's because I'm 39 years old now. 14, 15 years old when we started dating, and as many good memories as I have with Chelsea and that group of friends and my relationship with her, it was a while ago. So there's definitely a lot of things that I'm sure I've forgotten about. Maybe I've only forgotten about the bad things, who knows? But won't have as much to say about Chelsea, I'm sure, just simply based on the fact that time can be a little bit of a fickle bee and waits for no man, so to speak. But man, that first love, when you first experience that and you're so elated and you're so in it, nothing else matters. You're happy, you feel content. I don't even know if you feel content yet, but the excitement, it gets the better of you in every single way, and you truly feel like you are happy. That's probably that toxin getting chemical that your brain is releasing, and you're just high. What is it, serotonin? I don't know, but it's just, you feel like you're on cloud nine. And one of the things I learned very quickly is that is something that continues to happen every time you meet somebody new and sort of have that spark kick off again. But there was plenty of time where I never thought that was going to happen for me again after Chelsea. And it was just, I don't know. I look back on those younger years. Yeah, they were definitely my most impressionable years for sure. But so many good times, summers, winters, little fleeting moments and memories that I have now of just seeing her smile at me. And just knowing that, you know, we were a couple, and this is it. This is what I wanted. Of course, I knew everything back then, and you couldn't tell me differently, obviously, right? And it's just one of those stories that I always will remember. So random that it's just this one. I mean, like I said, there's lots that I do remember, but this one moment, we were one evening at this youth program. I think we were putting on like a Christmas concert or something. We were in that third tier leaders, and we were, I think, supervising the youngest tier at that time, the adventurers, and maybe it was a Christmas concert or something. Those details are a little vague, but it was just this moment where we had been supervising everything. We've been working together, Chelsea and I, and we were watching sort of, I guess you could say, the fruits of our labor, so to speak, you know, as much labor as you can have once a week for, I don't know, a month, working on whatever. And we were sitting in the gymnasium, and everybody else was in there watching this performance or whatever it might have been. We were actually sitting on the floor, and I was younger, I didn't have the back problems that I have now. And she was sitting in front of me, and I just was sort of watching her and just looking at her, and I felt so content in that moment. I didn't think there was anything that could make it feel better than it was, until she just sort of leaned back right into me, and her shoulder blades pressed right into the front of my chest. And I just put my arm around her, and it was almost like there was this collective sigh between the two of us of just absolute bliss, just happiness. I don't know why that story sticks with me so much. And it's such a, I don't want to call it a nothing moment, but everything else just sort of washes away, and all that really matters is the two of you at that particular moment. There were lots of experiences like that with Chelsea going on. She was the one that like came with me to my graduation from grade 12. There's this photo floating around somewhere where we clearly posed and had one of our friends take the photo, but I'm dressed in my tuxedo or whatever I was wearing, and she was in this gorgeous red dress, and we're just sort of like looking at each other. We've got this like sly look on our face where we're smiling slightly and just staring into each other's eyes, and it just looks like super like, yep, this is it. I'm so happy. I look back at that now, I kind of have a laugh about it, because it's just like, oh, if you only knew, sir. But that can be the worst like thing you can do to yourself when you look back on these things, is try to erase those really positive moments with how they ended up ending. You know what I mean? Like, I was my own worst enemy there for a long time. We'll get into that later on, but just having that new relationship, especially when it was the first one, it sticks with you. There will be other women that I talk about down the road, but Chelsea will always stick with me through those like really early years of my young adulthood. And I guess that's a good thing. I don't guess, it is a good thing. You got to sort of keep that stuff really close to you, close to your heart, and not allow the outcome to ruin the good moments that you had. And, you know, for now, you just sort of have to enjoy the good times, because nothing lasts forever.